Ole Miss this weekend. Absolutely. Games at home, better team, favored, have played better from start to finish, or till now, to date, I guess. And, I think it's a must. And, 3 years in a row, you don't see it often. So if you want to go back the last 40 years, you got Billy Brewer, David Cutcliffe, and Dan Mullen. That's it. That's it. And you're talking about a lot of coaches there. As far as, you've had 2-game winning streaks, right? Freeze, Moorhead, but got let go. Of course, Dan's won 2. He won 3, which means he had a 2-game. Cut had a 2-game. He had a 3-game. Sherrill had a couple of 2 games. And then Brewer owned the series. And then, of course, prior to that, the 70s went back and forth. But prior to that is where the thing swung from about 47 to 70 is Johnny Vaught absolutely and totally dominating. But winning 3 in a row is extremely difficult. And Brewer, Cut, Dan Mullen.
Tends to line up with the quarterback class, too, doesn't it?
Out of bounds, 105.9 The Zone, the SEC Insider Hit, brought to you by Blue Cross Blue Shield of Mississippi. It's good to be blue. The official healthcare provider of the Out of Bounds show is Blue Cross Blue Shield of Mississippi. And, of course, bcbsms.com, Blue Cross Blue Shield of Mississippi. We're going to have Steve Robertson at 7:35. Sorry, Blake, go ahead.
Well, no, that was my question was, when you go back and look at that, a lot of times those 3-game streaks line up with a quarterback that is above average, kind of hitting that stride and winning 2, if not all 3 of them.
Yeah.
Ralph, Manning, you kind of go back through. Those are the most recent 3 games.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you've had some Rebel killers and Bulldog killers. Bo Wallace, Nick Fitzgerald. Eli won 2 in a row. Ralph won 2 or 3 in a row. I guess he went in late in the first one, and then he started
9, 10, 11.
Win 2 and 3. Yeah. So you've been able to see some of that. But Billy Brewer, if you just want to take it from 1980 on, which is 40 years, you have Billy Brewer won 3 in a row. David Cutcliffe won 3 in a row. And Dan Mullen won 3 in a row.
Brewer did it twice.
Brewer was unbelievable. He understood the game. It meant the world to him, of course, to the fan base. Well, he played for the legend that I just referenced, Blake. I mean, he was a former player. He very much understood. You could argue that's why he hung around 11 seasons. He is the only guy post-Vaught to come close to hanging around, 10 years. Right?
Yeah, he won 4, then lost, then won 3.
Yeah, he was amazing.
So 7 of 8 was 7-1 in 8 years.
Okay, so Billy did it twice, and
that's incredible.
It is. He owned it. He owned Veterans Memorial Stadium, and Ole Miss hasn't had anybody there longer than who? Cut? I think
Yes.
6 years. Yeah. So Sherrill was there from 92 to 11 seasons, and Dan was there for what, 8 or 9?
Yeah. That is one of the most – when you look across the SEC, the fact that before you hired Moorhead, you had 3 coaches in 30 years was actually somewhat of an anomaly for Mississippi State, given what the rest of the SEC was.
It was 92 to
17.
Yeah.
I mean, that's almost 3 full decades of 3 coaches. That's a
Croom.
remarkable
It
run.
is, and Ole Miss has been chasing the vault. I think the reason why they went through more coaches is because of their 20-ish year success from 47 to 70. Brewer was 11 years. Really, no one's come close. But, yeah, I think it's a must-win for Ole Miss. You don't see 3 in a row often. You're better. It's at home. You have the better quarterback. You have the right unit in the way the game is played today, offense, and you're favored by 8.5 points. So a touchdown plus. We're going to welcome in Steve Robertson here in just a second. The Out of Bounds Show, 105.9 The Zone, ESPN. Hope you're doing well. The show is brought to you by Eye Care Professionals and Dr. Kirk Jeffries and the group on Lakeland Drive. Blade-free LASIK and cataract surgery. Eye Care Professionals. Dr. Kirk Jeffries, not but a mile off of I-55, right down from Smith Wills and the Northeast Jackson baseball fields. Great centralized location. Beautiful building. Eye Care Professionals, Dr. Kirk Jeffries, and the team on Lakeland Drive, blade-free LASIK and cataract surgery. The show is also presented by Dallas Body Shop in Ridgeland. For all your collision repair, Dallas Body Shop in Ridgeland. It's located behind Acura of Jackson. Dallas Body Shop in Ridgeland for all your collision repair. Located in Ridgeland, Dallas Body Shop for all your collision repair. So, Mississippi State's won 2 in a row, and yet they fired their coach. Weird.
Which never happened.
David Cutcliffe won 3 in a row and was let go. This does not. It just doesn't happen, right? I mean, Brewer was not on a roll, but he considering the circumstances did a good job. The second probation got him. It wasn't, losing. And as Blake said, I mean, he ripped off a ton of W's in the Golden Egg series. In fact, he's been the most, other than Vaught, he's been the most dominant of the, especially cable TV post-1980 run.
He was 8-2 in a 10-year stretch. Which is probably not. It's not only incredulous, but we joke about how Ohio State has done Michigan that way recently. But I can't imagine living through a decade. Like, let's say that start this decade and go, Ole Miss is about to win 8 out of the next 10 years. I can't imagine that happening in the Egg Bowl.
Well, that was the last dominating run.
Yep.
Since then, it has been
almost
since it moved to campus, and Cheryl took over. They are, it's just been back and forth. And Mississippi State's on a 2-game winning streak, so I would say that it is a must-win for Ole Miss. And this weekend, yeah. Will Lane be on any kind of hot seat if he loses? No. But this is one where all the momentum is in the Ole Miss camp, and you got to take advantage of it.
Does losing devalidate or make the right now it feels like Ole Miss fans are feeling good because they lost close to Auburn and they lost close to Alabama. If they somehow mess around and lose this game Saturday, does it just take away any type of season momentum you have, regardless of what the next 2 games hold for the Rebels?
Yes, no doubt.
That's what's so tough for Lane is it doesn't really matter that you played Alabama well and you played Auburn well. If you lose Saturday, the rest of the season is shot.
And there's winnable games left and right, obviously, for Ole Miss. They play the worst, arguably the worst passing defense in the SEC, in the LSU Tigers.
Not arguably. It's the worst in the country. We read those numbers with Brad.
So DBU has gone from, we can shut down most anybody to we are the worst passing defense in the country.
They've given up over 40
plays,
over 40 plays of 20 or more yards in the passing game.
Oh, wow.
That is incredible. They've given up 9, a country leading, regardless of conference, regardless of P5, G5. A country-leading 9 plays of over 50 yards or more in the passing game. 50 yards or more. They've
That's
given up
hard
9
to do
plays.
when you have that many 4- and 5-star
players. Is
players.
Peter Sermon in Bo Pelini's body? What's happening?
Is Peter Sermon or Crime Dog McGriff and Peter Sermon?
I don't think Crime Dog was that bad. I don't know if Crime Dog gave up 10 50-yard plays in a season, man. Good Lord.
Who would hold on?
Peter Sermon's the worst DC in the country.
Are you saying that Peter Sermon was worse than than McGriff?
Yes.
Ooh, I'd have to go back and look at the numbers.
No, there is no way Peter Sermon is not the worst DC in the last 20 years at either school.
I think it's there's more animosity there because you're a Mississippi State fan.
He was Crime Dog was awful, and Crime Dog got the better end of the deal. Ole Miss, like if you want to talk about a worse hire, Crime Dog was a worse hire because it cost Ole Miss like $6 million,
right?
Which is insane.
Are you saying that was a bad deal financially?
It was one of the worst hires ever. But Peter Sirmon almost cost Dan Mullen his bowl streak. Certainly cost him his winning season streak.
Right.
I mean that team.
But was that on Peter?
Yes.
As Bartu says, Dan made the hire. Now, Dan did something that a lot of coaches can't do. He literally, boom,
cut him,
punched the eject button after one season, which Bartu harps on. If you know the guy can't do it,
go.
You gotta cut the cord.
It's like a bad relationship.
Yeah.
When you figure it out, run.
Some people stay in those for 30 years.
Yeah, have 4 kids.
Yeah. It's amazing.
No, but I think that.
Hey, this thing's a dumpster fire. Let's have kids.
Well, that's Orgeron.
Hey, this thing's a dumpster fire. Let's sign McGriff to a multi-year, 7-figure deal as a DC.
Is Orgeron going to cut Pelini? Or is he going to double down because that's his guy?
I think he'll have to.
He has to.
Yeah.
He has to.
Yeah. Boy, it's a great job, isn't it, though?
Yeah.
I mean, if you know what think about how great a job the LSU defensive coordinator position is.
Well, you have what, top 6 talent at any given year? This might be the worst talent, in terms of experience, but you normally get so much more.
You get paid either north of $1.5 or $2 million.
Easily.
You get just about any player you want from the state of Louisiana, and you're a national recruiter.
Yep.
You have all the advantages in that you don't have an in-state rival, a la what we're talking about this week with the Dogs and the Rebs.
Or the Iron Bowl.
Bama and Auburn. Yeah, I mean, Auburn still signs phenomenal football players in the state of Alabama. I think there's this misconception that Bama signs the top 20 players.
It's not that way.
It's not that way. Auburn is a phenomenal program. They get players. Obviously, they go into Georgia and Florida, too.
And they've cost Alabama championships over the last few years.
Yes.
They've kept Saban from getting that 1 or 2 more. Absolutely. So you're 100% right. LSU doesn't have to do that. LSU and Florida, for those 2 reasons, and Georgia, are the 3 that you sit up and you go, why would you ever struggle, especially with the way Miami and Florida State have just nosedived over the last 20 years. There's no reason Florida, Georgia, and LSU aren't rolling in top 5 classes year in and year out.
That's why those jobs are better, even though it's crazy to say Bama is the best program in the history of college football.
But it's not the best job.
But as far as not having – I mean, Florida, Georgia, and LSU have the deal to themselves.
That's why no one's done at Alabama what Saban has done since football was leveled.
Right.
Right? Like what Bear Bryant did is great and all, but let's be real clear, it was not in an equal playing field.
Well, we started to get the scholarship deal and the cable boom, you're right, and more TV money over time, and it gave some other programs the opportunity to do.
Oh, my gosh. Bo Pelini's making $2.3 million.
That's good money.
Dude, they're going to have to pay him like $3 million to leave. Oh, my gosh. Can you imagine paying $6 million for what LSU put on the field this year?
You remember Bartu said that Orgeron won't be able to replace Brady and Aranda.
Well, Aranda's
and LSU
an A+.
fans, again, when you're in the moment of winning, you believe that you can do it. Oh, no, we're LSU. We'll just go out and hire the next Aranda and Brady. But it doesn't work like that.
No, there's a reason Ed Orgeron has 1 season of offensive talent or offensive production in his whatever how many years of being a coach he has. He has 1 season. 1 season. One season.
I tell you what, he was fortunate not to lose to Arkansas. But back to the Mississippi State Ole Miss game, I do think it's a must. You know, Mississippi State's got 49 scholarship players.
At best.
Well, we'll see how many that's bumped up to by Saturday morning or whenever this line is where everybody figures out who's on their roster.
Friday, I guess, yeah.
Will it be 49, 53, 50? I don't know. Do I think it'll be more than 60? I really don't. I don't think that they'll go over there with more than 60 scholarship players, but maybe there's this mass influx of guys that are now over contact tracing is the only thing I can think of. And I don't even know who it is because evidently they are being super 007 on us. Mm-hmm. Every school is. I mean, David Johnson told us, Kiffin doesn't really give us anything either. So MSU has kind of shut that down as far as the who. People have debated, are Wheat, Malik Heath, and Jordan Davis, the 3 guys from Colin, Are they out again? There seems to be strong discussion that they are, although there was some debate on Malik yesterday that I couldn't really track down. I think the overwhelming number of people think, okay, Jordan Davis, Tyre Sweet, Malik Heath, all three starters, JUCO guys, they were out last weekend. I'm going to assume that they're out this weekend until what? Told differently? I mean, maybe Mike Leach tells us something, or maybe he's not going to say a thing, and I don't blame him. So we'll see. Out of bounds, 105.9 The Zone. Welcome in. The Farm Bureau Insurance call-in line is 601-707-3750. We're live in the Bank Plus studio. We're streaming live on the Out of Bounds radio app. Want to welcome you in, say happy Thanksgiving to you and your crew. Hope you have a good one. Hope you celebrate it. Hope you travel if you want to, for sure, as you should. And I did see yesterday where it looked like travel had bumped up, and that's a good thing. I thought that was good. People were talking about, Blake, airports were getting full and so on. So it's good to see people moving around. Here in the Southeast, we've been moving around for months. So I don't know if we can really wrap our brain around exactly what's going on in some other areas. But, I was watching Matt Leinart tweet, Blake, who's on the Fox. What do they call their game day show? It's awesome.
Yeah.
With Urban Meyer, Reggie Bush, and Matt Leinart. And he was talking about not being able to really go to restaurants in the L.A. area. And I was like, man, I went to 4 local restaurants last weekend and had a blast and enjoyed it. And it was fantastic. So,
I saw some,
including Kessler Prime and Bravo Italian Restaurant and Bar. Go ahead.
Yeah, some NFL reporter I saw she was saying the same thing, that she had not been into a restaurant since March 7th. And I was like, how is that possible?
That's ridiculous.
I would just drive somewhere. I would literally, at that point, I'd just take a plane to eat a restaurant. I literally would be like, sweetheart, we're at Memphis for the weekend,
right?
Because we're trying to eat food not cooked by us. Like, that's crazy.
That's insane.
I cannot even imagine.
Do we want to hit a little bit of the Saints for a second?
Yes. Taysom Hill and the Cowboys won.
Well, all right. I'll give you 10 seconds. That's it. Go ahead.
We're winning the NFC East.
All right. So the Dallas Cowboys and Andy Dalton finally won a game. How many weeks had it been, Blake? You keep up with it more than I do. I don't watch the Cowboys.
Gosh.
Now that Dak is out, I'm no longer invested. I tried for you on Sunday.
It's terrible to watch.
I didn't watch it. It was on the red zone for a couple of times, and I think it was when I actually walked out of the boathouse. There were some other interesting games, but I can no longer. It proves to me that I'm not a Cowboys fan.
There you go. You're a Dak fan.
I'm a Dak fan.
But at least you know who you are.
Once he's back,
you'll be a Cowboys fan.
I'm all in. Now, I don't know. I can't, dude. I've missed. You can count on one hand how many Cowboys games I've missed since he.
No, I get it.
Since he started playing for the Dallas Cowboys.
Mine's 0.
Right.
I understand. It is nice not having to schedule your Sundays around that, though.
Isn't it wonderful?
It is a little bit interesting.
Like, it got to the point. Now I know what Ole Miss and Eli Manning fans, New York Giants, Brett Favre and the Packers.
Yes.
I get now.
It's a burden.
Never experienced. It is a burden.
It's a burden.
I already have enough to do on Saturday. I watch football from 11 a.m. to 11 p.m., and I absolutely love it.
Yeah.
I love college football.
Not mad at it.
I just the last 7-8 years got into, like, really into the NFL. And now the red zone really brought me to. In fact, let's ask our listeners. I want to know, did you watch the NFL over the weekend? Texas, 601-885-3776. How about this? Did you watch at least an hour plus? I want to know if you're just college football or are you watching the Saints, Steelers, Packers. Who are some other teams? There's a few others, I guess.
I know we had a lot of LSU fans who had been watching the Bengals until Joe Burrow went down.
I just hate that. Joe Burrow tore his ACL, MCL, and had structural damage.
He's out minimum 12 months, they say.
We're going to have another Mississippi sports medicine physician on to discuss that specializes in the knee. All right, ACL, MCL, and structural damage to the knee.
Which I guess means either joint or like well, I don't know, whatever I don't know.
I was sipping on a Parish Canebrake beer, and when when they showed that on the red zone or wherever I was, it just, I could only do it once. And I hate that for Joe Burrow. What a competitor, what a kid, what a winner, what a dude, what a leader. And he had played well this year, Blake.
Oh, he's going to win Rookie of the Year probably.
Wow. That dude is
But look, if Alex Smith can
he was
come
going to
back,
be another blue. There's not many of these. He was going to be a quarterback out of a blue blood program that looked like he had a 10, 12, and he still may, by the way. Again, medicine and rehab today is amazing. But as Blake said before the show, it looks like there's a really, I hate to say this, good chance he won't be back next year either.
no, it doesn't look that way.
He'll almost take a red shirt 2021 and get ready to go for 2022 because of the ACL, MCL, and structural damage to the knee. But I'm so far out of my depth discussing this at this point that we'll need to bring on someone from Mississippi Sports Medicine to break it down for us.
I know this is crazy, but if you're Steve Palazzolo mentality, Bengals are going to have a high draft pick. Go ahead and draft another quarterback. Look, I mean,
I think I'm okay with it, Blake.
RG3 was never the same.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not going to compare the two. They're different skill sets. I'm not saying that. But my point is there are some times where guys get hurt, and it just is what it is. And you're only a 3-win team right now if you're the Bengals. You were not winning very well with Burrow. You certainly aren't winning with TJ Finley. So you're going to be in the top 5. You just go ahead and take another quarterback?
I think so.
Could the Joe Burrow era be less than a season?
Well,
think about that.
I need to think that through for a second.
What if you're third and you draft Zach Wilson out of BYU, and he is what people think he is, and you start playing well next year with Zach Wilson?
I don't know exactly what the market looks like, though, as far as these guys that are pretty good. You know, they're really, really good second stringers, but can also win you some games when they start. And I don't mean Fitzmagic. He's kind of he's 36-ish, 37-ish. Yeah. But some other guys.
You're talking Andy Dalton. I understand.
Oh, wow. That doesn't do a lot for me either.
Hey, Taysom Hill was a backup who came in and dominated for the Saints.
Sean Payton is one word. Amazing.
Yeah.
Sean Payton schemed up Taysom Hill to beat the Atlanta Falcons. Did you see Roddy White's tweet?
That was hilarious. First off, Roddy White, what are you doing? You're the Falcons.
Right. And did you see that Sean Payton retweeted it?
Mm-hmm. Did you see Matt Corral retweeted some state account like said, "Hey," or "Happy Egg Bowl Week, Matt Corral," and put the picture of the video of him getting in that fight, and Corral liked it and retweeted it.
I love it.
Egg Bowl Week.
I love it. Battle for the Golden Egg, 3 o'clock, Oxford, Mississippi, Vaught Hemingway Stadium. Matt Corral, Will Rogers. First time Mike Leach and Lane Kiffin, I think, have gone head-to-head. Yeah. Because Lane Train was gone from Southern Cal before Leach took the Washington State job, I'm pretty sure. We're live in the Bank Plus studio. The show is brought to you by Rick's Pro Truck. RPT and Rick's Pro Truck. #1 Jeep truck accessory stores in Mississippi. The show is also brought to you by Juniker Jewelry Store. If you're shopping for that really, really special piece of jewelry for Christmas, it's Juniker Jewelry, Highland Colony in Madison. Mike D.